Chioma Adeleke, you use the charm on Davido. I'm your Igbo brother. I will expose.
It be like Chioma used Kayanmata for Davido. That is what a lot of people are now looking at. And this is all interesting because I want a lot of people to really understand the dynamics of things. So before we dive into the story, I want to say thank you guys for watching our videos and thank you for the love so far. If you are new here, you can click the subscribe button below and the bell notification icon to always get notifications each time we upload our videos. Guys, it was an interesting 30th birthday for Chioma and she got a G63 wagon from Davido. That is like almost 500 million naira, and a lot of people are really talking about it and it's getting louder at the end of the day. But the interesting part of it is that many people, the ladies in Nigeria and some countries, are wishing they were in position of Chioma. But when Chioma was bearing all of the things, the happenings around the video, the cheating and the rest, they could not actually bear it. They were really advising her to leave the video alone. What if Chioma have left the video? All this for nothing happen. That is what a lot of people are really talking about, trending on social media. While some school of thought are coming out to say Chioma actually used something on the video, but we need to explain that thing so that you will get to understand that this marriage of a teen or relationship of a teen, there is a response to certain elements. That is something you guys need to understand. So what Chioma used on the video is really a strong medicine, and a lot of people need to actually learn from Chioma at a time like this, and we need to bring it to the front burner. You know, when I look at the Gen Z, so I look at the ladies out there, man, the kind of mentality and mindset they have, they cannot really keep a good relationship and a good home. Many people allow some persons to actually interfere in their own personal decisions, and this is really ruining to an extent. But looking at the case of Chioma, you will get to understand that she is a lady that does not come out on podcasts to actually blabbing or talking about the relationship issue she has with Davido. And Davido has said it at a recent interview, and a lot of people are getting to understand it from a point like that. Talking about the kind of charm she used on Davido, that is called humility and respect to an extent. Because when you talk about humility and respect, most ladies, they don't want to give their husband or their man humility and respect, but they want to get loved. So let me explain it to an extent, because based on my Christian background, I got to understand that the Bible actually instructed us to actually love our wife as husbands, and also your wife to submit yourself unto your husband. I didn't say you should love yourself. Submit yourself unto your husband. You know what that does? Just like Christ is to the church. That is how, you know, the husband and wife relationship is. That is something I got to understand about that. Looking at the case of Chioma, you will understand that no matter the relationship issue they have, Chioma will not go on podcast, you know, blasting the video and talking about the relationship to the whole world. And that is when the problem starts. And also, keeping too much friends also affect relationships out there. That is something I got to understand about that. Pitching competition for yourself among your friends also is something that can actually destroy relationship. And Chioma is not all of this at all. That is something you got to understand about that. You know, looking at the Bible perspective of things, you will get to understand that, you know, for you to actually, you know, access the love of God, because love of God is for everybody. God loves everybody. But for you now to have the experience of the love of God, you got to submit yourself unto God. So also a relationship in marriage. So for you now to access the love of your husband, you got to submit yourself unto your husband and then access the love. But when we talk about this, these feminist people and other people, we start talking about equality and other things. They talk about equality when it's convenient. That is equality by convenience. But they don't talk about equality when it's not convenient, like during the time of war. You know, when they mobilize the men or the young men out there to go and defend their, you know, society or their village or their country, the feminists, they don't talk about things like that, because they don't want to be at the forefront of things getting worse and other things. So you got to understand that if you too much dey fight for your right, you no go dey husband house. That is something. And for you to get the best love from a man, you got to actually kind of submit yourself unto your man, humble yourself before your man. That is when you get the best of man. Yes, a lot of people are saying that Davido actually cheated on Chioma several times, but right now she is getting the crown she deserves and she is being celebrated just like that. That is something you need to understand. I'm not really encouraging cheating and other things, but I'm really encouraging a little patience and humility out there, especially from ladies. This is something really disturbing. Today, we dey blame Tu Baba. A lot of people, they say Annie has been love Tu Baba and all those things. If Tu Baba tell you your own story, wetin you dey feel for the marriage, you will feel for the guy. Because when I look at this, the marriage is not favorable to Annie, it's not favorable to Tu Baba. They have issues. That is something you need to understand, because during the marriage, later on during the marriage, you will understand that from the lyrics, from the songs of Tu Baba, you will understand that there's something deeply happening within. And also from the story around the family, from Tu Baba's last born to Annie's brother, you will got to understand that it has been so toxic to an extent. So that is what a lot of people don't seem to understand. When you give a man peace, he will stay with you. When you don't give a man peace, one day you go, you pack a load, follow another woman, go. That is something a lot of people understand out there. So we should actually be open to that, and then encourage a lot of young people to always be humble to an extent, not the drag right with your man. That is the case of Chioma right now, and she is getting all of that. First of all, Davido bought a house that worth over $900,000 in the United States, relocated Chioma to United States, and then bought a car for Chioma. Now he bought a G-Wagon that worth over 500 million naira for Chioma. That is actually loud. That is something telling a lot of people that there is, success in the end. Just be a little bit patient. And today, as we speak, no more scandals around Davido. That is something you got to understand about the whole thing. What is your own take? What is your own story about all of this? I want you to put that in the comment section so that you can have a take on what you feel. Before I jump off, I want to say thank you guys for watching our videos, and thank you for the love so far. If you are new here, you can click the subscribe button below, the bell notification icon to always get notifications each time we upload our videos. I love you guys. Keep supporting Afrobeat blog across social media platforms.